It's raining, it's miserable, but you know what else it is? It's river season, baby. It's opened up. So rain or shine, I'm out of here. I'm getting down the river. I'm gonna catch me some pike. I'm gonna put the camera away for now because it's raining real bad. But when we get there and get set up, I'll get you back out, alright? The river's a bit high today. It's not normally quite this high. That's normally a good thing, to be honest. It's quite a shallow stretch, so we've probably got another extra foot. First day of open season. It may be rainy, it may be cold, but boy have I missed the river. So for my setup today, I'm using a little spinner, a trace obviously because there's pike in the water, and I'm using just 20-pound braid, really thin braid. Thin braid can present some problems when it comes to fishing with light baits, like a spinner for example, but if you're quite experienced, it's not too hard to handle. You've just got to avoid your reel getting tangled, birds' nests, and reeling in too loose. If you reel in too loose, it'll give you problems when you're trying to cast out too. I used thicker braid for years. I used like 80-pound braid, something like that. And it was really good, you know, saved me a lot of lures, and it's quite hassle-free. But the issue is when you're casting out, there's a lot of resistance when the braid is coming off of your reel. The thicker the diameter of your braid, the more resistance you're going to get. So the lighter you go, the further you'll cast. It's as simple as that. For those of you that don't know, this is just a little spinning piece of metal. As I drag it through the water, it'll spin around like that and create a little flash in the water. And that'll hopefully attract a fish to bite down on the hook. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Oh, almost hooked myself. Too small for a net. Now there guys, a beautiful little chub. Literally the third cast through. Let's get him back in. Off he goes. I was a bit close for comfort. Well, let's get back in, guys. See if there's big brother or sisters out there. This is why we opted for a spinner over a bigger bait. You know, I could have just gone with a big pike lure, but I would never have caught that little bit. I've had quite a few casts through, nothing more's coming out, so we're going to move on. I'm going to see if I can't get over there, under that bridge. It used to be accessible, but as you can see it's very overgrown, so we'll see. Well, it turns out there's a lovely little path to this place. It's a beauty of urban fishing. 1 minute you're climbing through brambles, next minute there's a mown path for you. Beautiful. Look at this. It's quite the little spot. Ooh, I like this. There's some little pigeons up there. Hey, Pidgey. Well, the pigeons have chicks. It's a freshly hatched pigeon egg. No, there's pigeons were just up there. Oh, and more. Every single one of these little holes up here has a pigeon nest in it. It's like a little pigeon breeding ground. You do have to be kind of careful in places like this because pigeons spread a pretty nasty disease in their poop. Just don't touch that poop and make sure it's well ventilated and you'll be alright. Hopefully I don't disturb them too much. Okay. Lure fishing on the river really is cover as much ground as possible. You know, I'm only going to stay here for maybe 10 minutes, maybe a bit longer, 15, and then I'm moving on. The more ground you cover, the more likely you are to get a fish. It's not like bait fishing. Bait fishing, you can draw a fish into your swim. Lure fishing, you're just trying to find them. Simple as that. See where they're hiding. Yeah, I'm not getting any hits on the spinner, so I'm going to switch over to a pike lure. See if there's any pike hanging around in here. Like a pike would go for a spinner, but sometimes if the pike's feeling lethargic, it might not go for a small meal, but they often can't resist a big meal, you know, an easy big meal. It's also very hard to impart any kind of action into a spinner. A spinner does one thing, it spins. You know, if you bring it in too slow, it falls to the bottom. But with a different lure, I can fish at any speed I want, fast, slow, I can drag it along the bottom. Really change my approach and try and lure a pike in. I'm just going to go for a little soft bait like this. I wrap my my hooks in, it's like a plasticky foam. That way I can stick them all in a bag, not dull my hook on anything, and not stab myself or my bag. I'm just using quite a large jig bait. It's basically a soft piece of rubber and there's a hook running through it with a little jagged bit there so it doesn't slip off. I'm going to fish this through here, see if we can snag a little pike. It's been 10 minutes, no luck. We're going to move on. If you're spending more than 15 minutes lure fishing in one spot, you're wasting your time. I've cast in every direction, you know. I've cast this way, I've cast across here, I've cast across here, and I've cast up there. If you're casting out 4 or 5 times in every direction, you haven't got a hit, you're not going to get a hit. Anyway, let's leave the pigeons in peace, go to our next spot. Okay, get to this next place, a bit interesting. Let's go through the petrol station. So many parts of this river are just completely inaccessible. I'd be better off putting a pair of waders on than just walking down it, to be honest. Most of it's less than knee deep. Oh look, a lovely pair of shoes. Let's put everything down and go for a closer look, eh? Oh. Ooh, this looks so fishy, doesn't it? Yeah, I used to fish from the other side, but it's so overgrown, it's not even possible to get there. If you get down this way, it's going to be tight though. Really tight. Ah, let's do it. Oh, that was hassle. Okay. No joy. I think it's going to be my final spot. Done a lot of walking today. And missed a couple of fish, caught one. I'm kind of running out of spots now. My stretch of the river Avon is not the best. Lots of shallow spots, a lot of parts are just completely inaccessible. This spot is beautiful though, you wait till you see this. Here she is. This is the last ditch, guys, the last effort. Beautiful little spot, nice and deep. Covered in rubbish. Such a shame. It has turned into a beautiful day, my friends. It's freezing when I left at 5 o'clock this morning. Look at it now. Hey! My lucky spot, guys. Beautiful perch. Put perfectly in the lip. Look at this beautiful little fella. Oh, ah! He stabbed me. Gotta be careful with these guys, they've got a bunch of spikes on them. Look at this beautiful guy. He's only little, he's only a tiddler, but he's very welcome all the same. I'm going to put him in the net and see if I can't get a little underwater shot. I'll release him before I leave. I'll stick the GoPro underwater, see if I can get a beautiful little shot of him swimming off. I'll probably fail at it though. It's a bit of a drop here, it's not too easy. Alright folks, I'm going to call it a day. Alright, it wasn't a red letter day. We didn't catch 100 fish, but we caught a few. We had a good time. You know, that's what it's all about. Getting outside, getting some fresh air, taking a walk about. Thanks for tuning in, fellas. I'll see you soon.